This week on the Georgia State Sports Update, we're talking Georgia State softball with head coach Roger Kincaid. A little while later, we'll talk Georgia State academics with the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Student Athlete Development, Brad Horton. Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen joined in this first segment by the head softball coach here at Georgia State. That's Roger Kincaid. And Roger, heading down the stretch in the Sun Belt Conference portion of the schedule. 3 weekends left to go. You're going to be on the road at Louisiana Lafayette. You're going to be home with Louisiana Monroe, and then you're going to finish the regular season down at Statesboro. The big in-state rivalry showdown between Georgia State and Georgia Southern. This year, you get them on the road.
Yeah, it's gotten here quick, Dave. We start the journey in January, and it seems like it lasts forever. And then all of a sudden, you get to the back end, and you're wishing you had some games back. But it's exciting times. We love going to Lafayette and playing in that environment. That's a great softball environment. Good people down there, and they play a good brand of softball. So we're excited about making that trip. Of course, we got a little trip up the highway to Athens, Georgia on Wednesday that we're going to be focused on, before we get to Lafayette. So that's important for in-state, and we're just excited for where we're at and thankful for where we're at, and want to finish strong.
Well, right now, Georgia State softball currently second in the Sun Belt Conference, 28-16 overall and 13-5 in conference play. It's been a good season so far.
It has. We wish we had a few games back that we felt like we should have won. That's always the case, I think, unless you're undefeated. But the kids have played real well. We've got some good leadership on the team, and I feel like whenever our back's against the wall, I challenge them a little bit, and they step up. So far, so good. You'd like to continue moving forward. Don't take a step back in this last 10 games, but we're going to play them one at a time and see where we end up.
What's fun about college baseball, college softball, some of the other sports other than, say, college football and college basketball is the fact you look at your non-conference schedule, Coach, and I'm just going to run down who the non-conference opponents have been, some of them, because you've played a number of Power 5 schools. Mississippi State, you've played twice this year. You split with them. Of course, Georgia Tech right across downtown. Kansas, Illinois, Syracuse, South Florida, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Auburn. As you mentioned, Georgia on the schedule here late in the season. That's impressive for a non-conference schedule. Now, that's not the entire non-conference schedule, but that's a good chunk of it.
Yeah, that guy's crazy, huh? Who made that schedule?
Who made that schedule?
Yeah, no, I always try to put together a challenging schedule for us. We need to have a challenging schedule for RPI purposes. It helps when we play those teams. It helps us even more when we beat those teams. The big thing that we try to do is challenge our kids in the non-conference games to prepare them for the conference. We have a really tough conference in softball. We're continuously in the top 5, 6 in the country as far as RPI as a conference. So we need to play those kind of games. And honestly, I think some of our kids come to Georgia State to play because they know we're going to play those kind of games. They know we're going to challenge them and put them in those environments that they love to be in.
Which, by the way, your RPI as of this show is 53rd. That's 53rd nationally. Your number one RPI as far as being ranked within the Sun Belt Conference.
It's hopefully going down. We'll have the opportunity with these 4 games coming up this week to make that number get smaller. We want to get it as small as we can going into the conference tournament, and then try to work our way to championship Saturday in the Sun Belt, and that way we'll put ourselves in position for either an automatic bid or a at-large bid, which is tough to do. Outside the Power 5 because they dominate those at-large bids. But we got to put ourselves in that position, keep adding to the resume, and making sure we're doing the right thing.
If you're a casual follower of softball and Georgia State softball at that, no doubt, even just by visiting online at georgiastatesports.com, you've come across some of the game stories. You've heard the name Ivy Drake and Megan Latumbe, and those two can hit the ball out of the park pretty much every time they step up to the plate. Those are your top 2 power hitters.
They are. And, unfortunately for us last year, Megan got injured in the 5th game. She missed the rest of the season, and it hurt us offensively. We still had a great year, but you really never know what you have until it's gone, that kind of scenario. And we missed her badly, and I think Ivy missed her because she had not as much protection around her. So now they're just kind of trading off home runs. They're gonna finish up together now since Megan got a red shirt, so they'll both be seniors next year, and they'll be battling back and forth. We'll be giving out a home run ball for the record, and then the next game we'll probably give out another one. So it should be a lot of fun to watch how that transpires. And honestly, neither one of them go up there try to hit a home run. They just go up there try to make solid contact and help the team. But they're both strong enough and have enough bat speed to make it happen. So it's fun to watch those two.
Coach, you're old enough, as am I. You can almost compare those two. That's Georgia State's version of Mantle and Maris. I think it's 61, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Back
yeah.
and forth all year, trading leads with leads as far as who led with the number of home runs. And right now, Megan now leads with she's got the home run record of 43.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. She's been real hot lately in the last 15 games. I think she's hit 11 home runs in the last 15 games. So. When a hitter's seeing it, it looks like a beach ball, and you just hope they keep seeing it, and it doesn't go away. So, we're excited about where she's at, and keep her injury free and in the lineup battling, and I think we got a chance.
Well, again, Georgia State softball on the road to Lafayette, Louisiana this weekend. Big showdown with the first place team, the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette. But the reason why this is going to be a really, really fun and interesting series, and I'm just going to read a few of the stats here, aside from Ivy and Megan. Right now, your offense is first in the conference in hits, second in batting average, slugging percentage, on-base percentage, RBIs, and home runs. Now, that's the second place team. That's not even the first place team, and you're going to go on the road and play them in Lafayette.
Yeah, it should be a great series. They hit the ball well. It's what they do. They also have a freshman pitcher who has come in and kind of under the radar. Nobody really knew about her, but that's kind of their style. They go recruit kids locally and in the state of Texas, and they come in and they coach them up. But they're a really good team. I mean, they've beaten Alabama twice earlier in a 3-game series. So they're a quality opponent. They're on the national stage. They're I think 17th in the country in the top 25 this week. So they're a force to be reckoned with, and our kids love the challenge. We like going there and playing in that environment, and it should be a lot of fun. We're going on a business trip, going up there to see what we can get done. But our kids are confident. They feel like it's their time, to make a difference. And I look forward to the series and how they're going to respond to it.
Well, you know this as well as anybody, Coach. I mean, all that offense is great, but I think maybe an even larger part of the picture with regards to success in softball is pitching. You got to transfer Kinsley Jennings, who's been a great addition to your staff.
She has. We knew Kinsley growing up. We recruited her a little bit. She went to a different college, and we kind of lost contact with her. And then, after a couple of years, she decided she wanted to transfer, and we got in the mix for that, and it was a good thing. We know her family. They're local here, know her dad and her mom real well. So she's one of those kind of people that, forget the softball portion. She's just a good addition to our team because of her family atmosphere and, what she brings. But we have been really, really pleased with her effort in the circle. She's done a great job for us, and right now she's on a pretty good roll. So we'll see how she finishes the year, but hopefully she'll just keep getting better and better.
I want to let you talk about two of your other offensive players. Your leadoff hitter, Morgan Brown. She currently leads the team with regards to batting average. And one of your seniors, Kinsley Caldwell, currently second in doubles. Yeah,
Mo Brown has evolved from a freshman to a senior now, a leader on the team. She plays really good defense in the outfield for us, plays left field and center field, and is our leadoff hitter. And she started off really strong and has actually gotten better. She just puts the ball in play, and I think she finally realized what her skill set was, and she realized our God-given talent was speed. So she's putting the ball on the ground, she's running, she's getting on base because people are making errors, she's getting on base because she's finding a spot. She's just grown into, one of those deals where you wish you had another year, because she's that good right now. And it's just been really, really a pleasure to watch her grow throughout her 4 years. And then with Kinsley Caldwell, this is a kid that came to us as a shortstop, and when she got here, she was playing behind an all-conference player. So we put her to second base, and then we needed her last year at third, so she started at third for us. Now she's back to second. She's played some short. I mean, it's a kid that's played 3 positions at Division I, which is pretty impressive when you think about it, and all the while just hit the ball. She's a doubles hitter getting off the bus. I mean, it's amazing to watch her put the ball in play, find a gap, and not bad home run power either. She hits the ball out of the park too, but her forte is finding a gap, hitting a double. And you know, from our upperclassmen this year on this team in particular, we've had great leadership. I mean, those kids really get it, they understand it, and they have each other's back. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we've been successful this year.
Real quick before we let you go, Brad Horton is going to be with us in an upcoming segment of the show a little later on this half hour. No doubt it's about the athletics, but academically you've got to be proud. 6th in the country in Team GPA.
Yeah, that's
in softball.
Yes, that's a testament to our kids, you know, the kind of kids that we recruit. I think it's also a testament to Brad's group. I mean, they put together a plan for us. They have a study hall plan, learning lab hours, scheduling. There's a lot of things that Brad and Bree Hicken, who is our academic advisor, do for us. They deserve a lot of that credit because, you know, I'm not really with them when they're doing all that academic planning. All I do is kind of enforce whatever policies that we have in place. But it's important to our kids to do well in the classroom. I mean, they're competitive kids, they're high achieving kids, and those are the kind of kids that we try to recruit and bring into the program. And once they get into the program, it's a competition within the team. I mean, they pick each other up, they make sure they're doing the right thing. So it's you know, something that I'm real proud of, and I know our athletic department is too.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Congrats on that. Appreciate you coming in, and good luck down the stretch here, especially starting off at Lafayette.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you having me.
All right, I want to thank Roger Kincaid, head softball coach here at Georgia State. Time now as we move along on this Georgia State Sports Update. It's time now to meet the coach with Kelly. Again, a brand new football staff under head coach Sean Elliott. Today we're going to meet Chris Collins, one of the assistant coaches on the Georgia State football staff.
I'm here with assistant coach Chris Collins, and he is the new safeties coach. All right, Coach, tell me a little bit about your journey here to Georgia State.
Well, my journey was an interesting one. It was quick, to say the least. Had a chance to talk with Coach Elliott. Came down maybe 2 days later and spent about half the day with him, just kind of talking about his vision and where he wanted to go and the direction he wanted to move the program in, and getting to know each other a little bit more outside of just the football realm. And that next afternoon, I was full-time and watching recruits that evening. So it was a quick transition, but excited about it and blessed to be here.
Okay, and where did you coach before?
I was at Western Carolina last season. Previously, before that, I was at Appalachian State. And so I've kind of moved around just a little bit in a short period of time, but glad to be here, hopefully be here for a long time.
And what do you think of Georgia State University, of downtown Atlanta? We have a unique campus, unique students.
It's definitely unique. That is a good word to describe it, but I think that makes it special in its own right. You know, it's kind of a melting pot of a lot of different people, a lot of different opportunities for your student athletes to kind of be able to thrive and develop, not only as players but as young men. You know, being able to have a lot of different opportunities to be successful. I think it's something that makes us really unique. Being in the downtown environment is something that is definitely a positive for us, you know, in terms of being able to give our guys a lot of different options in terms of things to do after college and after the ball stops rolling for them at some point.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about our safeties. Do we have some fun personalities on the team?
Yeah.
Tell me about the men you're working with.
We do. We have. I got to say, our guys have been outstanding. You know, the safeties. And we're kind of in a unique situation. You know, I got a 6-year senior who's played a lot of football for us, and then I don't have many guys behind him who've played a bunch of snaps, but they're all eager. They're all excited about the opportunity to go out there and compete, and they've been outstanding, you know, in terms of the effort that they've put in both mentally and physically on the things that we've asked them to do. So I'm tremendously excited about the guys we have and then the guys we're bringing in. I think that's going to breed a level of competition that's going to elevate our game to a place that it hasn't been before.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the Collins method. What do you have them doing during the summer? What do you expect from them?
You know, the biggest thing, I want those guys to care about each other. You know, I think it's important for you to build relationships. And when guys really care about the success of their teammate as much as they do about their individual success, you breed a culture of of getting the job done consistently, you know. So that's the most important thing. We talk about building a brotherhood and being more than just what we do football structure-wise. You know, you got to spend time with each other outside of just in between these walls to build those relationships, to build that trust, to build that respect, so you can go lay it on the line for that guy each and every day. And that's kind of the process and where we've been trying to grow with the X's and O's, of course. But I feel like that's the great foundation, and it'll help us move forward a lot quickly, a lot more, and have a lot more success sooner.
Okay. Tell me a little bit what you like to do when you're not coaching, when you're off the field. What are your hobbies?
Yeah. Well, I'm a simple guy. You know, I'm a homebody by nature. So when I get a little bit of free time, you know, I'll turn on HBO, Netflix, all that stuff, and watch a movie and just kind of unwind that way. But in terms of getting out the house and when I want to get active, I like to bowl, and every once in a while I go golfing, you know, in the spring and in the summer we get a little downtime. But for the most part, when I get some off time, I'm at the house watching movies.
Okay, movies and bowling too.
Yeah. Me and my family used to go when we were little, and it's kind of been something that I always kind of lean back on a little bit just to get a little competitive juices out of me, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, favorite food?
Favorite food, pizza.
Pizza.
No question.
You can't go wrong with pizza.
Can't go wrong. You can't mess that up too bad.
And favorite movie?
Favorite movie, I got a bunch of them, but if I had to choose one, I would say Denzel Washington and He Got Game. One of my favorites. I kind of was a basketball player when I was young, and I always saw myself kind of in that role a little bit and kind of enjoy that dialogue.
Okay, and if you had to give advice to a young man that's maybe considering Georgia State University, what would you tell him?
I would tell them definitely the options and the possibilities that you have here at Georgia State are endless. You know, it's your choice. You got to go put forth the first step and introduce yourself to those options. But again, you're in a place to where you can touch so many things, so many positive things, and if you utilize those opportunities, then you again be very successful. You know, all we can ask for in life is opportunity. You know, and it's our choice to take advantage of those opportunities. Well, at Georgia State, you've got a bunch of them in grasp, in hands reach. So take advantage of those opportunities in front of you, and you'll see the success that you want.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about Coach Elliott. What's his style? What's his method?
Coach Elliott, passionate, man. You know, he's a guy that enjoys the process of building men. And he talks about the development and not just the long-term goal, but the everyday process, you know, in terms of staying consistent, trust and respect, you know, building those relationships and how those things will carry you not just through the game, but through life. And so he's very passionate, very energetic, the same guy every day. You know, he's going to have a smile on his face, but he's going to demand that you do things the right way and be held accountable for that. And again, I think that shows his passion for building men. And so I'm excited to work with and work for him, and I can't wait to get the season here.
Awesome. Well, I'm here with Coach Collins. Back to you in the studio, Dave.
Thanks, Kelly, and thanks, Coach Collins. Right now, as we continue along here in the Georgia State Sports Update, we're going to talk a little about academics at Georgia State University, and we're pleased to be joined by the Senior Associate Athletic Director, Brad Horton. And Brad, thanks for joining us. Your job, and you oversee the entire academic program at Georgia State. You're a former student athlete. You played college football at Mississippi State. You were at Florida State prior to coming to Georgia State. And so you've kind of seen the gamut from, academics as a player to now academics from the administration standpoint.
Yes, it's been, thank you again, Dave, for inviting me out. Really, opportunity for our office and academics, student-athlete support, really to go out and talk about what we do as a staff. As you mentioned, former student-athlete, played at Mississippi State University and really transitioned to this field to talk, and teach student-athletes the next step of life. If that's professional athletics, if that's, graduation and career, readiness, but really making sure our student athletes understand the dynamic of coming to a university for 4 or 5 years, honing in on your skills on the playing field, playing court, whatever surface that is, but also academically preparing yourself for the next step of life.
Well, again, as a former student athlete, again, you played college football at Mississippi State. How were you as a student athlete, and how did you view academics when you were a player and your time was, divided up between practice and playing and academics and, whatever social life you were able to have in the time that was remaining, to now seeing it from the other side of the table to where you're counseling and overseeing and guiding young student athletes? You have walked the walk and you've talked the talk.
Well, Dave, I'm glad you asked me that, not the staff at Mississippi State. Just joking. For me, it was, the time demand piece was not as demanding as it is right now for our student athletes today. It was a lot more free time, the flexibility to do things on your own time when I was a student athlete in college, whereas today's student athlete, it really depends on how much flexibility we have. Travel is different. Competitions are really different. The travel schedule for our student athletes is a lot different. So what we try to do with our student athletes is work backwards from their competition and practice schedule. So looking at it as a 20-hour window and saying, hey, how do we maximize our 20 hours on your sport, but also in the classroom? So being able to talk to our coaches and saying, hey, what day do you have off, and how can we balance that with the student athlete? And then looking at our time demands on our side and saying, academically, when you're in class, how much are you put towards your efforts in studying? So is that 2 hours for each class? Is that 3 hours for each class? And then really helping our student athletes understand with a time management piece of every day what you have on your schedule so that they can balance and have a life outside of academics and sports.
Well, Brad, you and your staff are doing something right. 19 consecutive semesters here at Georgia State athletically that all of the teams combined have had a 3.0 GPA or better. So you're doing something right.
Yes. And for us, it's really the partnership with our coaches and our administration department. Everyone really supports our student athletes and supports our office. So when we ask, for additional study hall, meetings with professors, different things that we ask, if that's, to travel, with the team to make sure we get tests, exams, and things monitored on the road, our coaches really support us and our administration supports our efforts. So that's really, where our skill is and where the success that we've had.
You look around college athletics, and not necessarily here at Georgia State, although the facility for academics, is nice, but you can go around some of the Power 5 schools, and I know you've seen this because, again, you were at Florida State before you came to Georgia State. The academic support centers are like little Taj Mahals within the athletic department as far as facilities go.
And that's really going to be, for us, a piece of growth for ourselves. Right now we have 4 different spaces that we use for academics. One of the things Charlie, our athletic director, has promised us is that we'll have one space really for all of our student athletes to come to at the Georgia State Stadium and really be able to, show them what we're about when we move forward. So a different space as far as, relaxing, studying, but also a space where they can come together and really enjoy, what we have as an athletic department.
Again, we're talking to Brad Horton, Academic Support Services, Georgia State University. Brad runs that section of the Georgia State Athletic Department. And you mentioned something earlier, too, and I think obviously it's a lot better today than maybe it was 20, 25, 30 years ago, and that's the buy-in and the cooperation of the coaches. I mean, academic support now is a much larger field than it was back in the day, probably when you were a college football player at Mississippi State. But at the end of the day, the coaches have got to be there not only to buy in, but they've got to be there to support what you guys are doing.
And the deal with today's student athlete is that a coach recruits them either, from a freshman, when they enter a university, or if they're a junior college or a graduate transfers. There's so many different levels now, and coaches have to be responsible for that student athlete when they step on campus, and that's where the partnership starts. So when they start recruiting the kid, we ask the coach to give us an academic profile so that we approach them with a family approach, either on mom, dad, or on brother, sister. So when they come into our office, a lot of that is, with the coach, how do we gain their trust and how do we make sure they have, that academic success in mind?
Is it the first year that really, I'm going to use the word dangerous, when you get a young student athlete going from their high school experience into the first year of college and making that jump?
Yes.
Is that the one time where you really have got to make sure that time management and all the things that you guys provide service-wise are taken advantage of?
Yeah, our first year is critical. Freshman year is all about gaining the trust of the student athlete. So finding out, from day one, what's your interest, what's your career plan. So being able to get them to trust you, getting ready to have them understand what you want to be in life, and us being able to support them. So a lot of it is the one-on-one meetings, the study hall requirements, the one-on-one meetings with coaches to make sure the student athlete has a support system. And we always say the first 4 weeks of a semester are critical, but for our freshmen, the first 13 weeks of an academic semester are critical for our student athletes.
All right, Brad, we'll appreciate you coming in again. You're doing it right. 19 semesters here at Georgia State within academics of a 3.0 or higher. So congrats, great job, and keep it up.
All right, thank you.
All right, I want to thank Brad Horton coming in. He is the Associate AD Student Athlete Development here at Georgia State University. Time now for our next segment here in the Georgia State Sports Update. It's called Who Is, and it's with our own Jared Oliver. Today he's talking to former Georgia State basketball player Ryan Green.
Welcome to another edition of Who Is. We are here with a former basketball player here at Georgia State, Ryan Green. We're going to ask him a list of questions, 2 minutes to answer them as best as possible. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Timer starts now. In 3 words, who is Ryan Green?
A leader, a defensive stopper, and a playmaker.
Sweet. Why did you get into this sport, basketball?
Because I like playing basketball the most.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
easy answer.
Yeah.
Favorite memorabilia?
Ooh, my championship ring from my senior season.
Sweet. All right. Do you have anything in your pockets right now?
Yes, my phone, keys, chapstick. You want me to take it out?
Yeah, let's see the chapstick. Chapstick is important, man.
Headphones.
Headphones, of course.
Even though they don't work with this.
Wear them when you're walking downtown.
7.
All right.
And my wallet.
All right.
Yeah.
Busy man. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Super fast speed like Flash.
Yeah, why?
Just because I feel like you can travel really fast anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much the same as being invisible almost when you
Yeah.
want to be.
You don't need a car either.
Yeah, nah.
Favorite song?
Ooh.
And you got to sing a line from it.
March Madness Future.
Okay. You want to? No?
I got nah.
All right. 3 things on your bucket list.
Oh, traveled to 4 cities this year.
Okay. Have any in mind?
Yeah, Chicago, Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
somewhere in Florida, I'm not sure yet, and I want to go to New York.
Okay. Something else on your bucket list?
I have one. Everything just went blank.
Well, you got 19 seconds left, too.
All right.
Pass. All right.
yeah.
Favorite time of year?
Summer,
Favorite place to go?
the beach,
Sports hero?
Dwayne Wade.
Okay, cool. Nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That sounds up.
time. Well, we got the Dwayne Wade one in
How
there.
many questions did I get through?
We got through 12. Not bad. Not
Didn't
bad.
really answer one.
Yeah, well, thanks for hanging out with us. Learned a lot about you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank
Make sure you follow us on social media and use the hashtag PantherFamily.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks to Ryan Green. Ryan, of course, a member of that 2015 Georgia State NCAA basketball championship team that beat Baylor down in Jacksonville. Always great to see Ryan. Time now to take a look at what's coming up on the schedule this week in Georgia State athletics. Thursday through Sunday, April 20th through the 23rd, men's and women's tennis playing at the Sun Belt Conference Championships. That's down in New Orleans. Friday through Sunday, April 21 through 23, beach volleyball at the CCSA Championship. That's at Lake Point in Emerson, Georgia, just up 75. Friday through Saturday, April 21 and 22, track and field at the Georgia Tech Invitational here in Atlanta. That's an all-day event. And Sunday through Tuesday, April 23rd through the 25th, men's golf participating in the Sun Belt Conference Golf Championships down in Miramar Beach, Florida. So that's what's going on this week in Georgia State athletics. I want to thank our guest today, Brad Horton from Academics, softball coach Roger Kincaid. For the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. Thanks for watching. Go Panthers. We'll see you here next week on the Georgia State Sports Update.